On Alexis and Nick over there, those guys are real tough. And we were fortunate enough to get out of that because I thought I was going to have to lift against the wall, but I didn't, fortunately. So I do want to thank Ryko. This is their hometown, so this is their race, and I want to thank them for all their support. I definitely have to thank Chris at Hedman because I keep hitting the wall and clipping the wall. So, Chris, I need another header, and the green stuff and everyone else that supports me. But we're fortunate to get out of that one.
Mickey Farrow advances to the next round in front of his hometown sponsor.
Here comes the Fire Ice Team Machine. Jay Payne running out of the number 1 spot for the 64th time in his career. And Steve Burck with that ARC Team Machine, car that he's had for 4 years that he's been running. I was back in the pits last night talking with them. They made a very solid run in the opening round. Ran 5.76. Excited about the way that this car's running. Let's check in with the stat guy.
Steve Burck learned about drag racing back in 1970 as a crewman on a fuel funny car called the Traveling Texan, driven by a guy named Bill Rogers. Bob Fry, you know all about the funny car class. That's one of the more obscure race cars I've ever heard about.
Yeah, he was the second cousin of Grover Rogers, who used to be Billy Meyer's partner.
Wow.
Not made that up.
Good one, Bob.
Say it with conviction and make it true. Jay Payne got the bye of the first round thanks to being the #1 qualifier here. Ran 5.62. That gets him lane's choice.
Look out.
Jay Payne was all over the place. Give this one to Steve Burck, who goes 5.72, 251 miles an hour. And you saw Jay get out of shape in that same lane. We just saw Mickey Farrow have problems.
Yeah, but Mickey went to the left. Jay went to the right. There are probably no more aggressive drivers in this class than Jay Payne and Frank Manzo. Frank not here. He's up in the Division III race. Jay came out, got that thing out of the groove, mowed down a couple of those little timing blocks. And this thing just takes off, starts spinning the one tire and drives him over toward the center line. And even though Jay has done this as many times as anybody in this class, you just can't save it when the car's running that hard. So he mows them down. We have 2 non-winners on tour on one side of the ladder, and Burck and Todd are going to meet up in the next round. And well, that thing got out of shape early, and Jay did a good job just to be able to pull it back onto his side of the racetrack.
Never mind, not going to touch that. Top Alcohol Funny Car semifinals. It will be Todd Venny picking his lane over that man right there, Steve Burck. And on the other side, it will be Mickey Farrow with that 5.67 taking on Tony Bartone. Semifinals are set in Alcohol Funny Car.
We've all heard the adage, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And Steve Burck, that run looked pretty good. So are you going to make any changes?
Very little. We'll tighten up the clutch a little bit and try to get it to run a little quicker, which it should do. We saw a little improvement that time, so we're going to be back with a little bit more. I think we got enough to do some good today. Here we are in the semis.
Advancing on. Good luck.
Let's take a look at our Lucas Oil ladders. We set up now for semifinals of Top Alcohol Funny Car. Steve Burck and Todd Venny have completed their burnouts. Todd Venny picks his lane, and coming up in the battle of the winners in this category, Mickey Farrow and Tony Bartone, it will be Mickey Farrow. Not to say that Steve Burck and Todd Venny aren't winners. They just haven't won a national event yet.
Tony Garensway, the crew chief for Steve Burck, the ARC specialist, getting some help from Monroe Guest and his Tiger Flow. The Permatech team looking to go to the money round. This will be very interesting because Steve Burck has never been past the semifinals. They said the car is in good condition. Everybody told me just routine maintenance between rounds, and that should be a good thing.
Hold on, Todd Venny. Cross the center line, and how about Steve Burck's day? It continues. 5.68, 252 miles an hour. Said he needed to tighten up the clutch a bit. Say he tightened it up just a bit, but can he get it stopped? Not without the help of the kitty litter.
Amazing. This is a very long racetrack, at least comparatively speaking. He runs here out of Division IV, which means that this racetrack is one of his home tracks here, the Texas Motorplex and some of the places like that. Now watch Todd Venny. That car that just drives hard toward the center line, right over there, and gets it back onto his side of the racetrack, hits some of those timing blocks. The chute comes out, but did not fully blossom, and you'll see him and hear him getting on the brakes right now.
Oh, very early in that run. Wow, that sound is incredible.
That should not cause any problems for them between rounds. Now, let's see if we can see what happened to Todd Venny's car. It comes out of the gate. There's that really nasty tire shake that we talked about. Wow, looks at that left side of the race car. Yep. You know, it's tough to steer them when the front wheels are not on the ground. Goes over and drives into the other lane, and Steve Burck will motor on through for the win. So one had problems on the track. The other one had trouble getting off the track.
Bartone with that 5.60 run that you see complete here in slow-mo will pick his lane over Steve Burck. Burck going for his first ever win. Bartone going for his 9 millionth. Okay, it's not that many. It's a lot. So we check in down at the farm with Jamie.
Steve Burck advancing on to the finals, but you had trouble with your chutes. What happened at the end?
All I can figure is the parachutes probably got sucked up underneath the body, which has never happened. We have launchers on ours. Parachutes are very dependable. My lovely wife over here packs them every time. We're okay. We'll clean the dust off, wipe ourselves down, go back and reload and be back for the final for the first time in our lives.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Now remember, these cars do not have the big wings or spill plates on the back like the fuel cars do. So once they're going down the racetrack, it's the brakes and or the parachute you're using and hoping that it's going to stop you. They don't have that big drag that you automatically get with those wings on the fuel cars.
You saw Jay Payne down at the far end, maybe offering his assistance as well. Turn our attention now. It's ESPN2 at the NHRA O'Reilly Spring Nationals, where just a moment ago, don't watch the car getting out of the groove. Watch Steve Burck. He takes the win, heads to the final for the first time in his career, but you notice the parachute does not blossom. Bob Fry, that creates a little bit of a problem stopping this race car.
He's been down this racetrack probably as many times as he's been down any track and just noses it into the litter down there. Slowed him down, stopped it. Team back there in the pit area, they did get a lot of help. The Monroe guest team came over. The Tiger Flow folks helped out. They just had to dust it off a little bit. They said, we're in no rush. We've got everything under control.
The last time we talked to Steve Burck, he was down at the other end using the sand trap in order to stop. Here you are back in the pit, so getting ready. How's the car?
The car's okay. I'm fine. It's a little bit dirty. We dusted it off. You can see we're turning it around, getting ready for the final round.
Is it going to be ready?
It'll be ready. It'll be ready.
Hard work going on right now. We'll see you in the finals.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming by. Bye.
Great news for Steve Burck. There's a whole fleet of those Lucas Oil machines. It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts Spring Nationals. Dave Reef, Bob Fry, Jamie Howe, glad you could join us for the alcohol finals. We begin in top alcohol funny car, where that man, Tony Bartone, will go for his 33rd alcohol win. He's kind of the Goliath of this category, taking on Steve Burck, who calls Corpus Christi, Texas home. Made a career best run here speed-wise a year ago, 2010. He's got a divisional runner-up, but he's got one of the giants across in the other lane.
But he's got a really good race car, a car that can get on down the racetrack. They haven't made any of those silly mistakes, really shocked at the tires, had any of those runs where it almost went across the center line. Tony's Bartone's car, it's either been an all or nothing deal so far for them.
Burck is out of it, and Tony Bartone will collect the trophy. Steve Boggs, the entire Center Point crew do some celebrating. How about this for final round numbers? Check out those. 5.587, 262 mile an hour.
Today, all of a sudden, they're the leaders in the clubhouse. Steve Burck on and off the throttle a couple of times off the starting line. Maybe they just tried to pump it up a little bit.